So, this is just an update on the Corsair. But first I want to show you guys something. Ginger, come here. Come here. Come here. Yeah, come here. No, 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 up here. Up here. Come on. Up. Come say hi. Hey, you. Who are you? It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan. She was letting me do that to her earlier today. But now she thinks I'm just bugging her, which is true. She's weird. She'll let me just put my whole mouth on her muzzle like that. You don't squeeze, you just put your hand on it. She's no problem. Funny dog. Anyways, so yeah, I put the propeller on just to see what it would look like. The propeller is huge compared to like the rest of it all, which I love. I think that just makes it more goofy. I put in the canopy. Now there's two pegs here and here. This is a split. Okay, so there's one here, and one here in the front. But the ones that are here on either side, they are really tight. So I just cut them right off, and not even going to worry about them. So they're just held in by the two in the front and the back. Masking them off was pretty easy to do. Went in nicely. Quite happy with that. So I can pull this off and take out all the... Anyways, then this is all sanded down, nice and smooth. And I also did the wing root. Hopefully that will hold up. Now, I just want to point out, I noticed an error in the instructions. Now, I noticed something about these planes that you need to take into consideration. These aircraft that Tiger model are using for their egg planes, these are all based on real flying warbirds. So this number 29 is actually flying around in air shows today, as well as like the 109 and probably all the others. So you have to check for historical references. But one error I found on the instructions I just want to point out. It's not a glaring omission or anything like that, but you do want to pay attention to it. On the bottom half of the wings here, this is blue where it folds. So this part will be blue. The same XF23 blue. So just keep that in mind when you're working on it. And I think if you had it all gray, it wouldn't be a problem either. It's not going to be like, oh, look how bad your model is. It's going to be more like, yeah, you missed it. But it's an egg plane, so who cares? The other thing too is this is white. They want it to be sky gray XF19. This is supposed to be white. I'm going to paint it white. I like the white a lot more anyways. And then yeah, tape that off, paint it blue, and I'll be all good to go. So I'm going to go take apart the engine here, and yeah, ready to airbrush. So I'm pretty excited to put some color on this, see what that's going to be like. I have to say too, the engine that they have in here is incredibly like accurately detailed. It's pretty awesome. So that's about it for me. I'm going to go and yeah, let's get some airbrushing done. So I painted everything white, and I noticed a couple little chips in it. I'm not happy about that. I don't know where that came from. I think there's one right there, because I'm the only one who's handled it, but I just don't get it. I haven't done anything to damage it. This is the first time. I just painted it, put it down like this, picked it up, put it on the shelf like this, and let it dry. So I don't know where these came from. But what I'm going to do is coat it in future and airbrush it tomorrow, I guess. I thought it might be a little bit more stuck on there, but that's not. I'm not going to even risk it. And yeah, just do a little dot touch up there. So what I'm going to do now is, like I said, I'm going to do future. I'm going to mask off the white. I also painted on the cockpit window frames, so they're black typically. I could have gone green, but most of the reference showed them as black. And the other thing too is the rockets on here. I want to talk about those. here for just a sec. So let me just pull them out because they're a bit of a mystery for me. And I was doing a bunch of research online. I also painted the propeller black, so I'll probably paint that in the future. Here's the wheels. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to do all this stuff. So here's the rockets. And the instructions show them, or tell you to paint them as gray. And I went and looked them up online, and they are Havar rockets. Or they should be Havar rockets. But they, I was very confused about the colors of them. And they're very close to being accurate on here, apparently. So they wanted to be light gray, which they used sky gray XF19, which is correct. They were gray, typically. The back part was usually that gray or silver, and they have actually they have a little notch in the back here, so I can make them silver if I like to, which I'm thinking about. I'm toying with the idea. I haven't made up my mind yet. And then the tips were black, but a lot of the time they were olive drab with a little bit of silver on the edge. So I kind of like doing that. I kind of like the olive drab idea. It's just adding another new color into the mix. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make up my mind on that later, but there's a lot of little work to do on these. Now the one thing I got to address is you can kind of see that they're in a bit of a bulbous shape here. Havar rockets were usually just straight, but then I found out that there were some that were bulbous and they were very pointy, and they were anti-tank rockets. So I'm betting, however, they just made them bulbous like that so they could be categorized in the cute section. So that's all I'm going to do on those. I'm not even going to worry if they are anti-tank type of things. I'm just going to say that they're regular old Havar and be done with it. So the next color I'm going to do is the light blue. And yeah, I'm going to mask that off and use some silly putty. So I think I'm going to use silly putty actually. So I'll get to that in a little while. But yeah, for right now, I'm going to go do those touch-ups and give it all a future coat. So I masked off the Corsair. As you can see, it looks quite yellow for right now. And it took me just a little over half an hour to mask this off. So the next step is to paint the intermediate blue. That's the lighter blue color. And I went to grab the instructions say to use XF23 light blue and fresh out. So that sucks. I thought I had just enough in there to airbrush it, but nope. That's all gone. So in the bin that goes. Actually, I'll wash that out and reuse it for something else. Anyways, I'll use medium blue, XF18. I recently used this on the Wildcat, little Airfix Wildcat. So it's a nice color, but it is pretty dark. So I'm going to toy around with mixing it, adding some white into the mix, which means I have to get it kind of right in one shot. So I got to paint everything blue. It needs to be painted blue, and it's not going to be very difficult. You know, mostly what I need to do is paint the wings. So these need to be blue here. Addressed that already. And then the sides here, that needs to be blue. This needs to be blue, and the tail needs to be a nice light blue. And that says to just use XF8 blue. I'm gonna look into that because I know that blue is close. It's not totally there. So I'll probably just end up using it anyways because it is a nice bright kind of color, which is what you usually see on a Corsair. So one more thing I've discovered, I don't know if it's an error or not, but usually the spinner here was, they have it red here, but the shaft, oh shoot, I just forgot what this thing's called right there. Oh no, I forgot. Anyways, the part that holds the propellers. Oh jeez, it's gonna drive me crazy. That's why I'm filming, so I can remember everything and sound educated. That should be silver. It can be left black, but it should be silver. Typically they were silver. So I'm gonna paint mine silver. Because I can. And so yeah, I'm gonna go paint these. I'm gonna go paint this guy, and I'm gonna go paint the rockets. And I think that'll be about it for me for a little while until I get going again. So we're ready to paint the final blue color. It's XF8 flat blue. It's a very nice bright color, which is going to go very nice with this nice bright intermediate, well, it's not an intermediate blue, but it is an azure blue enamel. And you can see I've taped everything off except for this little bit at the top there I forgot about. Let's take care of that really quick. So let's just go like so. And booyakasha, we're done. Okay, but what I'd like to do for these lines here and here is to use some silly putty. Silly putty is really nice stuff if you want to make some soft lines without having all that overspray that usually comes with masking your own little lines. You know, you can freehand airbrush all those, but then you get a bit of an overspray. And if this was on a real one, that little bit of overspray wouldn't be too bad or noticeable, but on a model kit, it kind of is more noticeable, isn't it? So I've gone ahead and just made a worm of silly putty. Let's go here, come on. Put that there. Curve, come on. I don't quite care, to be honest, if these aren't perfect. If they're a little off, I kind of like that. So let me just, maybe I can use these to cut this stuff here. Ha ha ha! We have reinvented the wheel for sprue cutters. So now all I have to do is just put more putty in there in the back when I'm done all of this. So let's do another line. Let's get rid of that hair. That is a ginger boxer hair. Yes, you. Her eyes slowly wake up from her nap. Who, me? Okay, right there. Sweet. I need to do a little cleanup. That's where this nice paint stirrer comes in handy. So I can kind of push the paint around. Or putty around, rather. So yeah, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to go do the same thing in the front here. And then what I'm going to just do is... Oops. Come on. Careful. Careful. There we go. I'm just going to take a bunch of this. Smoosh it flat. Like so. And I'll just cover it up. Like that. So, what you want to be careful about, though, is silly putty loves to stick to itself. As you can see here, I'm having troubles. Careful. Come on. I'm sticking to everything now. So, I'm going to go do this and push my tripod back, because obviously I'm tripping over my own two thumbs. But that's basically it. Next thing we're going to do is, yeah, airbrush. Time for airbrushing. Yeah. Have some fun. quite a fun airbrushing session, wasn't it? Let's take off this silly putty and see how we did. My coverage looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with it. I have to say it was difficult to paint in front of the camera. It's one of those difficult things because if I airbrush like this, you guys can't see anything, so I have to kind of do this weird bend and twist in order to get everything in the frame. Look at that air bubble. Ooh, glad nothing got into there. So where to start? That is a very good question. Let's just try this. That's not working. Okay. Let's try this. That is working. Sort of. Ah, look at that. Oh, wow. That looks fantastic. I made them higher than what they should have been because I kind of wanted to keep a little bit more of that blue in there. So let's try this. Ah, there we go. That is great. Got a little bit of putty in here. Forget it. The only way to get that off is to go like this. Yep. And might do a little touch up in that corner there, maybe. See how it looks in a second. So I'm gonna try. Come on. What the dickens is going on here? Stuff just doesn't want to come out. Gee whiz, that scared me. Someone has a donkey in town. And there's these times where it just... What do they call it? Bray? I think that's what they say. Donkeys bray, don't they? B-R-A-Y. And it just... it sounds so terrifying. A little bit there. Darn it. Just a little scratch. I can fix that. I can fix it. I can do it. Oh, there we go. So that one didn't turn out as these side ones didn't turn out as nicely as I'd hoped, and they need a little bit of work on some touch-ups, but not terrible. Like this is a little. You can see right here, it's a little crass and too sharp. And so what I'm going to do there is I'm just going to take the paint and just curve it and just fade it out just a little bit. Make this a little bit more blue in that corner there. Here again, I'm gonna fix that. I'm just gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna take that blue and just paint down the line, get rid of that. So that should work out to be pretty successful. But the front, at least, the front looks really, really good. So I've got my Corsair. I'm going to leave this thing alone to dry for a while. I'm going to take the rest of the tape off later. I just wanted to get rid of all this silly putty before it kind of hardens up a bit. It does not like to work like it works quite well with gravity. So probably if I came back tomorrow, it would all just be pulled down and look like a melted wax exhibition or something like that. But yeah, that's about it. So let's let the paint dry, and then I'll do those touch-ups. And whoa, we're ready to add the decals here. Sweet. Let's get into that.